Hey there. So, we are continuing with Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East because this is an instruction manual for getting you across the bridge residing in your heart to that which you will become. So, I'm going to do chapter 5 and chapter 6 probably. We were up at sunrise the next morning, and that day returned to the village where we had left our outfit. We arrived at the village just before dark and pitched our camp under a great banyan tree. The next morning, Emil greeted us, and we all began asking questions. He said, "I do not wonder at your questions, and I'll gladly answer all that I can at this time, leaving others until you have gone further into our work. In talking to you, you fully realize that I am using your language to convey to you the one great underlying principle of our belief. When all know the truth, and it is rightly interpreted, truly is it not one and all from the same source? Are we not all one with the universal mind substance, God? Are we not all one great family? Is not every child, everyone born, no matter the caste or creed, a member of this great family? You ask if we believe death is avoidable. Let me answer you in the words of the Siddha. The human body is built up from the individual cell, like the bodies of plants and animals, whom we love to call younger and less evolved brothers. The individual cell is a minute microscopic unit of the body. By a process of growth and division, repeated many times, this minute nucleus of a cell unit results at last in a complete human being, built up of almost countless millions of cells. These body cells specialize for certain different functions, but they retain, in the main, the characteristics of the individual cell whence they arose. This individual cell may be looked upon as a torchbearer of animate life. It passes on from generation to generation the latent fires of God, the vitality of all living beings, with an unbroken ancestry reaching back to the time when life first appeared on this planet. This individual cell has the property of unlimited youth. But what about the group cells called the body? The group cells arose from the individual cell repeated many times, retaining its individual characteristics, one of which is the latent fire of life, or eternal youth. The group cells, or body, function as a guardian of the individual cell, only during the short span of life as you know it now. So, essentially, you have one cell, and then the others amass around it, and then that builds out the body like the one you see speaking to you now. The purpose of which is to protect that original primal source cell, the photon that created you, so that you might be able to go into this world and experience whatever it is you wish to experience. The most ancient of our teachers, by inspirational means, perceived the truth of the fundamental unity of life reactions in plants and animals. We can well imagine these teachers beneath the spreading banyan addressing their pupils as follows. Look at this giant tree. The vital process going on in our brother. Can you see any trees? Yeah, look at that tree right there. Look at this giant tree. The vital process going on in our brother, this tree, and in ourselves is fundamentally the same. Behold the leaves and the buds at the tips of the oldest banyan. How young they are. Young as the seed from which the giant sprang into life. The life reactions of plant and man being alike. Man can certainly profit by the experience of the plant. As the leaves and buds at the tips of the branches of the oldest banyan are as young as the seed whence it sprang, Even so, the group cells in man forming his body need not gradually lose their vitality and die, but may grow young and evergreen as the ovum or individual cell itself. Indeed, there is no reason why your body should not grow as young and vital as the vital seed from which it sprang. The ever-spreading banyan, always a symbol of everlasting life, does not die except through accident. No natural law of decay, no old age process seems to exist within the banyan tree to affect injuriously the vital energy of its cells. The same is true of the human form divine. There is no natural law of death or decay for man except through accident. No inevitable old age process exists within his body or group cells, nothing that can gradually paralyze the individual. Death is, then, an avoidable accident. Disease is, above all, dis-ease, absence of ease, or shanti, sweet, joyous peace of the spirit reflected through the mind in the body. Senile decay, which is the common experience of man, is but an expression that covers his ignorance of cause. Certain disease conditions of mind and body, even accidents, are preventable by appropriate mental attitude. Says the Siddha, the tone of the body may be so preserved that it may naturally resist with ease infectious or other dis-ease, like plague and influenza. The Siddha may swallow germs and never develop disease at all. Remember that youth is God's seed of love planted in the human form divine. Indeed, youth is the divinity within man. Youth is the life spiritual, the life beautiful. It is only life that lives and loves, the one life eternal. Age is unspiritual, mortal, ugly, unreal. Fear thoughts, pain thoughts, and grief thoughts create the ugliness called old age. Joyous thoughts, love thoughts, and ideal thoughts create the beauty called youth. Age is but a shell within which lies the gem of reality, the jewel of youth. Practice acquiring the consciousness of childhood. Visualize the divine child within. Before falling asleep, suggest to your consciousness, I now realize that there is within me a spiritual joy body, ever young, ever beautiful. I have beautiful spiritual mind, eyes, nose, mouth, skin, the body of the divine infant, which now, tonight, today, is perfect. Repeat this affirmation and meditate on it quietly while falling asleep. Upon rising in the morning, suggest to yourself aloud, well, dear, there is a divine alchemist within. By the spiritual power of these affirmations during the night, a transmutation takes place, and the unfolding from within, the spirit, has saturated this spiritual body and spiritual temple. The inner alchemist has caused dead and worn-out cells to fall, and the gold of new skin to appear with perpetual health and loveliness. Truly, divine love is a demonstration of eternal youth. The divine alchemist is within my temple, constantly coining new and beautiful baby cells. The spirit of youth is within my temple, this human form divine, and all is well. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. I began this practice some time ago. I began doing Qigong and Tai Chi and using this baby cell mantra, divine infant, divine child, and then just practicing the knowingness that I was actually getting younger. I would say this to myself every day, and I do. I'm getting younger. I tell people that. How old are you? I'll tell them whatever, and then tell them that I'm getting younger. And believe me, through meditation, through this powerful affirmation, through recognizing that the power is within me to manifest this eternal youth, and then doing it, not just being like, okay, it's within, and not doing anything about it, but doing it, literally manifesting the new cells. It's like you feel like this divine infancy, like this divine being within you, pushing out from within, and just like all the dead old stuff just like poof gets pushed off of the surface so that the radiant, new, and beautiful within shines out, is what all others see, but most importantly, is what you are. Learn to smile in the sweet way of a child. A smile from the soul is spiritual relaxation. A real smile is a thing of true beauty, the artistic work of the inner ruler immortal. It is well to affirm, I think a kind thought for all the world. May all the world be happy and blessed. Affirm before taking up the work of the day, within me there is a perfect form, the form divine. I am now all that I desire to be. I visualize daily my beautiful being until I breathe it into expression. I am a divine child. All my needs are being now and forever supplied. Learn to thrill yourself. Affirm. Infinite love fills my mind and thrills my body with its perfect life. Make everything bright and beautiful about you. Cultivate a spirit of humor. Enjoy the beautiful sunshine. You understand that I am quoting from the teaching of Siddha. They are the oldest teachers known, and their teaching antedates all history by thousands of years. They went about teaching the people and showing them the better way of life, even before man knew the simple arts of civilization. It is from their teaching that sprang the system of rulers. But these rulers, soon, they wandered away from the realization that it was God expressing through them, thinking that it was themselves, the personal, with who they were doing their work. They lost sight of the spiritual and brought forth the personal or material, forgetting that all comes from one source, God. These rulers' personal concepts gave rise to great separations in belief and the wide diversity of thought. This is our concept of the Tower of Babel. The Siddha have preserved throughout the ages the true inspirational methods of God, expressing through mankind and through all his creations, realizing that God is all, and that it is God manifesting through all. They have never deviated from this teaching. Thus, they have preserved the great fundamental truth. It is key that when we say that it is God expressing through all, that you don't take your power and give it away and put it on to a deity, put it on to a form that isn't within you, that is not you. Essentially, what we can say in summary here is that the voice you hear now is being expressed by God, the God within, the God, the one universal substance, the quantum field, the prana, the chi, the Holy Spirit that radiates through time immemorial, is found an outlet within me, which I have recognized as I am, and thus it is able to flow. So, an electrical socket in your wall doesn't say, I am plastic. None of that. It just says, boom, here's power. The minute that something comes into contact with it. It just is the power, the source of power, or an outlet for the source of power. It's all connected. It's all one thing. And then something taps into it. And boom! Power. Power for all to experience. Power that is already being experienced by the outlet. Namaste.